So let's continue. Let's look at purchasing here. We can purchase another division, it looks like. Okay, yeah. We'll get one more division into the pipeline. So we can see we still have a bunch more divisions in the pipeline. Don't know how much they're going to get here in time, but might as well keep pushing on that. Okay, I think more or less I've done what reinforcing I can do, done what advancing and attacking I can do this turn. Hopefully I haven't forgotten anything important while talking about very important subjects. At least, like I say, they are to me. Hindenburg defeats the Russians at Tannenberg. All right. Belgian cavalry is arriving. They're doing reconnaissance bombing here. Ouch. It's... A local hobby store. They play on weekends games like Flames of War, which is a World War II tank miniature games. I noticed that the girls that do show up are more interested in Dungeons and Dragons rather than war games. Yes, there's I very much think that there's a distinct difference between women in gaming and women in war games. I'm not sure whether it's the structure of the games, just role playing, because you could create a role playing game of soldiers in World War I, but again, the structure could be that if you're playing it historically, obviously, other than nurses, you don't have women in combat outside of partisans in Serbia or someplace like that. So I guess you could do a spy. Yeah, because with Matahari, you could do an interesting spy role-playing game that would have featuring women in it in World War I. So maybe the structure of the game, role-playing versus counters on a map, might be some element of that. And so there's definitely been an increase from my observations of women in gaming, which is obviously to the good. But I've not yet seen it as an increase in significant increase. Well, because it's such a small percentage, any increase may seem big, but it just so far is not. Pretty much. I think that they're gamers if they play something from a browser on a tablet or a smartphone. Yeah, well, they're casual gamers if that's what they do, and that's fine. However you define it, you can always have casuals and hardcore at whatever the sport or activity. Okay, now down here, we want to come down here. Actually, I want to save this. Just in case I screw up again and maybe enough that I want to replay it. Okay, now you're back here in better supply. Well, at least to get to 8. All right, well, they push back here. They're pushed into here. They've pushed up around to here, which is going to be a problem for them. Now what we're going to do here is swap these two out and hopefully just kill this. There we go. Now hopefully he's in good enough supply to max him out. Very good. Okay. Yeah, he may not have he could be a still weak attack from this side. He's going to be reinforced to here. Unknown. I not good at chess. I wasn't really good at chess as a youngster. It was definitely not a gateway drug for me and my interest in it. It was, shall we say, too abstract. Because, like I say, I got in at a young age. I mean, less than 10, playing, dice rolling tank battle type games. I don't remember the exact age, but it was fairly young. So tanks were cool. And instead of just going pew, pew, pew on the, playing in the back garden, actually rolling dice and seeing the hits and does it penetrate and all that kind of stuff, or just track the tank. That was fascinating to me. So that wasn't too abstract. It's where I find chess abstract comparatively. So sure, I mean, if it's a gateway drug for other people, that's great. I'm not knocking it, but for me, it just wasn't. Again, that's just my experience of it. Most countries, army is closed to women, but some are still interested in historical aspects. This has been asked before. The video I find on YouTube about the game never uses these counters. These are okay. Yes, that's part of what we're showing off here. It started out as mod. It's called Blue Max mod, but now it's included in the game, and you can go in and, well, let's just save this again. I will show that off because that's part of what we're doing here. Okay. Just save that there. Just in case I hit the wrong buttons here. You can come in here and settings, I think, no, yes, here. You come into here and see, we can click this off and go, okay. And it's taking a second. It's okay. Okay. And now you can see what it looks like in the sort of original standard format. I mean, it doesn't look bad. I mean, it looks good, I think, just not as good as well done. So, but we're going to, because we're showing this off, we're going to go back to settings in here, mods. And then you can do just like the interface or just the units. So you can play around and get some of this, but we're just using all of the Blue Max stuff. And this is all just look and feel. It doesn't change the game in any way, so you can play with somebody else who doesn't have it set up, because you can do the play by email. So it doesn't, this isn't a gameplay change mod. And this is also a DLC that's included in the base game called the March on Paris, as opposed to, which is a divisional every 2-day game, as opposed to the grand strategy game of the whole basic war. So for those of you out there watching that might see this a bit different as that. But again, it's all included in what you get when you buy the game. When I was in 5th grade, early 80s, D&D came out a couple of years later, and we started playing it too eventually. In the mid-90s, a girl joined a D&D campaign. People took a Polaroid to prove it. I believe that, Van Bishop. I believe that. Wondering because they look pretty good. Thank you very much. Sure, no problem. That's what I'm here for. If anybody has any questions, I'm not saying I can answer everything, but if I do. Now, this is what, and I don't know, when I go in and out of this, Belgium comes up with Russian icons, though it still has the Belgian, because that looks like a Russian horseman, blue trousers, cap. Russian icon still has the Belgian unit. I don't know if it's because I've started with the earlier version of Blue Max, or if it's still just a little buggy on this, or I don't know. I mean, that's a minor thing. But I like NATO counters. I really do. And so I can quickly read this as an infantry unit with 2 X's here. I mean, the X's are sort of small compared to here with just basically 1. So that's a detachment. And this guy will change over time as there's the 3 levels of upgrades, get the Stahlhelm, and then I get a Stahlhelm with, pretty camouflage painting on it to see what level of upgrades these various units have. So they do change over time, as you upgrade things. He'll go to, the French guy will go to the Adrian helmet instead of the red cap, and stuff like that. So you can easily see which units are upgraded and which units are not. War games also have their own strategy or starting gateway, Unity of Command, Panzer Corps. Oh, absolutely. And recently announced Valor and Victory are better suited as entry points to the genre, in my opinion. I will never believe that you can love a war game like without a love of history. Absolutely. Yeah, if you wanted to get into the meticulous detail of something like the war in Europe or the war in the East and war in the West type of thing, you've got to really love history. Got to be interested in it. Those type of games are not gateway games. If you throw anybody, even somebody who is predisposed to like this type of thing, if you throw them into that at first, it's not a good idea. Definitely something like Panzer Corps or Panzer Corps 2 or whatever is so much better as a gateway push. Right, okay, so we now have the ability to come to here. Which unit do we want to? We want to move in and entrench. Good. Now, let's, now that we found that, okay, this is a good railway junction here to hold. Okay, you entrench looking sort of like that. You trench looking like that. That way they're covered fairly well. Okay, you have action points. You come in and trench here. Straight south. Do we attack? Do we attack? Or do we bring up our artillery and push? Good thing again, these are Belgian, not Russian. But yes, okay, you can move into here. You can entrench into here. And so, although I don't know if I'm going to win this or not from the sort of victory and defeat perspectives of the game, I've definitely learned that you want to be this sort of passive-aggressive style on most cases. Let's see how much. Yeah, 8, that's probably worth it. Instead of keeping the momentum going. Well, we might as well move you back and keep you on that railway. The sweet, sweet supplies. Well, I hear you saying that, Unknown, but you can do a fantasy strategy game, I guess, without a good grounding in history. But yeah, if you're going to do a historically based one, you really do need to know the history. Okay, well, I think we might be able to get Mons. Too far away for the aircraft, so I'm not forgetting it this time. Just not using aircraft. Okay, 2 rounds of heavy gunfire. Okay, that looks like the best opening shot. Good. Now, there. Okay, I guess we will move you back by 1. You up there. You're going to come down. Oh, that sucks. You're going to come into here. Right, you're locked down. You've attacked. You're going to come in here. You're going to kill that unit. You can see, because I want to now come in here and have a point left over to properly entrench. Okay, so we've got Mons. We've entrenched. Looks like we can hold it. I'm hoping so. Okay, they can move. Okay, these guys here. Well, let's. Let me go. I want to move you guys close for some defensive fire. There we go. So we just took Mons, which helps secure. We can remove the units, which helps secure this push through here. I don't know if I really want to take the time to reduce this fortification here. I don't know that it's needed, but we want to better control rails coming through here, rails coming through here, bypassing it. Knowing history is important, i.e. why can't a PZ-1 hurt a KV-1 tank? Absolutely. Yeah, they're both tanks. Lord of the Rings is an allegory for World War One. Well, Tolkien is definitely affected by World War One, and there's definitely elements there. I don't know. You know, you can convince me of it. I just that history's critical. Okay, you're too weak of supply to be reinforced, but you should be able to move up into here. Well, let's move you all the way back down to there. Let's move you up to here and not attack. Okay, the whole idea of, part of the idea of doing all of this is doing it with an economy of force. And not doing it using too much. Okay, well. A little bit risky, but we'll risk it. A little more cost than I wanted. But I'm hoping I'll be able to reinforce and he won't, effectively at least. We need more supply, more supply. Okay, well, let's... Okay, we only have 3 action points, but I think... Okay, can we get back? Yes, good. Back to our entrenchments. We'll see how well they'll be able to reinforce with this lowered level of supply. Hopefully he can get back there and get more reinforcements. Now we're going to have to see about what we do with that. Don't want to move them out there where I can't entrench them. But do I want to push up? Okay, they've got a cavalry unit, which maybe we can take next turn. And then they've got a detachment up here. And if we get to the sea, now as we can see here, there is a little, we have to take Bruges here to be able to run the rails. If we don't take Bruges, getting up to the sea, it won't be enough supply. So if we take Bruges, coming through Ghent, it looks like we can maybe supply this well enough if we then come down along the sea here and push this way through here. So we have to do that. All right, these guys, yeah, no. Now we have a detachment, which these detachments will, one, eventually you run out of being able to build more divisions, but also they are useful in particularly trying to hold open something like all of this. You know, I think we're just going to spend the money and operate it and get it up to here. Now we're not forgetting our purpose of pushing up in this area here. Now here's going fairly well. I think right now it's a combination of supplying and sort of just juggling forces as much as anything else. So if we come to here, we do have a railway coming, yeah, through there. That's what I thought. So pushing there. And that's also why I moved the detachment over here, because if we then are able to concentrate our divisions here, well, hopefully this is safe enough. What do I want to do with this? 5 rounds. 5 rounds. So far, these don't look terribly well, although they're starting to shift forces around, I'm sure. Well, for the moment, we're just going to move them to here. That way, if they move a unit to here or attack here, it'll get defensive fire. Or if we need to attack here, we can pummel them with lots of artillery. And we're still on the railway to shift. Shift forces. I wanted to draw a comparison with Lord of the Rings, since that's more abstracted, sure, but it is also literary work which kickstarted fantasy into cohesion. Absolutely wasn't available in folklore fantasies. If you want for a deeper dive into historically inspired fantasy, you can't go wrong with A Song of Fire and Ice. Yes, J.R.R. J.R.R. Martin or whatever. All fantasy and sci-fi inspired. Yes, I mean, yeah. One thing that's really good about, I particularly learned it about science fiction. It's a way to, if you will, teach lessons, but draw them away from current emotional situations. Being an American, we have, people from all over the world. And so, friends, grandfathers that were in World War II, but fought on the German side. And so, how conflicted, and now that's, they're an American, and at least one of them that I'm thinking of, their mother's side of the family was, here in America for that. So, okay, so that they have letters and whatnot of, their grandfather would maybe not fighting Americans, but fighting, on the Eastern Front or something. And the sort of, even though they think, the German cause was bad, but when we go, hooray for beating the Germans, they're sort of conflicted. Now take those same kind of situations and into Germany or wherever else, Italy, whatever. And so you have mixed emotions. Yes, the world, many people, not everybody maybe, but many people will be, yes, the world is better that the Allies won, but damn, my grandparents' home was blown apart by an American bomb or something. Um, I can see a conflict of looking at that and learning the lessons. So I often talk about learning the lessons of history, not just historical lessons, meaning facts about history, but learning like we were talking about history repeating itself, learning the lessons of history. And so if you're looking at that, and so take it away from the real potential conflicts of people picking a side of some such that are going to not necessarily go well, but extrapolating it into a science fiction world in which none of the sides, none of the groups have any direct relations to what is happening here in our current reality, so that you can just look at the essence of the situation without that emotional historical baggage. And so you have some of that is, a real thing. Okay, we have this unit here. Well, I think the reduction of the pocket is going to come sort of from this way, up into here. Maybe march south out of or towards Sedan. That guy just attacked, so we can't. Hopefully he'll survive that. So that is some of the really good things about science fiction, and I'm sure absolutely fantasy. And fantasy was more accessible to the mind of an early 20th century person than science fiction. They're still thinking is Martians, people living on Mars, as opposed to people living on other stars or whatever. So talking about Tolkien or I always blank on names from the guy who wrote Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. And looking at that was more accessible to the understanding of the minds of the time, I would say. All right. Okay. Well, you're going to come to here and entrench. Don't know if this is the best plan. Okay, guys. Max that out. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. This is looking useful. Well, that worked. Okay, maybe I shouldn't have done that one, maxing that out. So now I had thought of moving him up here to attack and retreat. Damn, okay, well, you're going to fall back to there and you're going to fall back to there. So I don't want you up there to die. And unfortunately, we didn't get that to be a kill. What's the date, please? September 1st, 1914. We are pushing. This is the March on Paris. And so you can see our current status, which is doing moderately well, maybe not as good as historically. I don't know how well they were doing in September 1st. I hope you were asking about the date in the game and not today's date, because it is not 1914, let alone September. Sorry, just my humor at times comes out. May not actually be funny humor, but I think that's sort of good because he's sort of affecting supply around multiple areas. Yeah, no, this is the DLC. If you weren't here when I said it earlier, of the March on Paris, which is obviously at the beginning of the war. Okay, yeah, I think we have enough here to purchase another division. There we go. Very good. Well, it might vary a bit, yes, if you're talking globally. Do I really want to end the turn? Yeah, I think I will. I mean, maybe I don't. Yeah, I maybe should have done that. Whatever. I make mistakes. Oh, they're moving in. There's a tree up there. Good, they're starting to feel the pressure, so they're attacking some of these units, and they'll do better on the defense because they're entrenched. Hopefully enough that they won't collapse and get destroyed themselves. Okay. A detachment. Again, you want to place them somewhere on a railway line, not just out there, so that you can strategically move them. Okay, now these guys here, they've been reinforced, so they're going to, they only have 3 action points. So they're going to come here and entrench. Because entrenchment is more important than it's this way. It's in moving up at the moment. Now we're going to push. So they just moved a lot of forces away from here. So we're going to push here. Now it looks like we actually may be able to take them. Maybe I shouldn't have entrenched them. Okay. Oh, very good. Now you can see that this is actually German territory that we're retaking back. Although they won't be entrenched. We've retaken German territory because they moved a lot of their forces out. Yeah, they should come up forward. Very good. Right now. Yeah, I think Bruges needs to be the next thing that falls. Heavy artillery in the area. Not maybe as favorable as I would like. If I thought I could actually take it, I would continue the attack, but I don't think I can. So what I want to do here is, can we operate this? No, we can't get it to there. I wanted it to there. Okay, let's cancel this. You come up to here. Okay, let's operate this artillery here. Get it there on the roadway. Okay, and it looks like they've given us this as a nice path of advance. Be wary that that will not be unoccupied. Like I thought. Now, we can't have him on the front lines. I don't need to bombard the fort. Yeah, no, because it's going to take him a while to... Even if I hadn't moved that other artillery up there, it would take a while to get here, and then just reinforce around here well enough. So we're going to try to bypass this and push in this environment here. But we are running past time already, so I think we're going to end this here. I want to again thank everyone who's here today. I really do appreciate all you guys, and I will again just paste a link to my YouTube channel. I'm also on Twitch. That's gamer_1745 for more historical gaming, including very many Slytherin Matrix games. And I will be back Friday with another early look. I believe, it's Warplan Pacific. So you want to see more of Chester or Nimitz versus Yamamoto. Come back and check it out, the Friday stream. So see you guys